You need prizes, I think. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our monthly Fire Safe Council Leads meeting countywide. Happy October, all y'all. And got some updates. But I think I'm going to go straight to Joe Nordlinger because Joe is actually dancing between this meeting and the Deer Park Fire Safe Council meeting. So we're going to go ahead and have Joe give a short update on Napa Firewise initiatives. We do have a guest speaker tonight, Mike Wilson, not Napa Firewise's Mike Wilson, but the other Mike Wilson. We're so lucky to have two wonderful Mike Wilsons in our company. The California Fire Safe Council, Mike Wilson, will be catching us up on what the California Fire Safe Council is up to and some resources for fire safe councils. And then a few other items to go through today. And of course, as we're able, I'd love to hear that FSC roundtable, get reports from what you're all up to and what the needs are within the fire safe councils. Any fabulous discoveries you've made would be wonderful to share. I think that's it. So remind me to go back to the chipping program later, but Joe, take it away. And Joe Nordlinger, you've all met Joe. Joe's the CEO of Napa Firewise, in addition to being the president of the Mount Veeder Fire Safe Council. Great resource if you have questions about fire safe councils and many things, actually, defensible space and grant writing and fun things.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Sherry. And happy to be on the call and to have an opportunity to just speak to you all about some of the things that we're working on at NCFF. Like all of you, I began my sort of journey around wildfire resilience as well, first as just a property owner, but then as a guy who wound up running the Mount Veeder Fire Safe Council. So I know what it's like to work on sort of creating a community from your community and pulling together folks who are interested in wildfire resilience in all of its forms, and then trying to sort of maintain engagement and getting people to show up at meetings and getting folks to volunteer hours to help you out. It can be a really heavy lift to sort of maintain momentum and to get folks to be involved. So over the course of many years now, Firewise has evolved to really work to be a more robust organization to support the individual fire safe councils. And that support goes, I think, beyond just being a fiscal sponsor. I mean, historically, Firewise was an organization who was there to be a fiscal sponsor if folks were able to secure money or pursue grants. I think our long-term objective is to really be sort of a core services platform that can provide a lot more support and a lot more resources to all of the fire safe councils. And we need really strong fire safe councils. So there are a number of initiatives that we're embarking on over the next kind of 3 to 4 months to try to reinforce and build out some of those services that we provide at the platform level. And those initiatives are, there's some technology systems upgrades and configurations that we need to do so that as a service provider, we are dealing with fewer systems that are more integrated. We have an initiative that is really about improving all of our customer data. When I say customer, I mean all of the resident data on behalf of the fire safe councils. So, to our thinking, we need to be an organization that is bringing contact data in. We're curating that contact data for residents. We're working with fire safe councils so that they understand who their residents are in their community. In some cases, that can be a two-way thing where you're sharing contact information with us or we are with you. The objective really is for us to take our, the total Napa residents is like 138,000 or something like that. If you take all of the residents that are out in the high and the very high severity fire zones, it's 5,141. And it's those folks who are in the fire safe council communities that we want to sort of systematically be connecting with and providing, detailed consultative information about how to think about wildfire resilience. In many cases, if they're in one of our project footprints, then we need to get a landowner agreement for them. from them, and that's important. But we want to make sure that we're sharing kind of more information with them and helping them to make decisions about the investments that they need to make for wildfire resilience, whether it's at kind of the home level, the defensible space level, or just their forest land that they might need assistance and suggestions on how to best manage that. So, some of the key initiatives are this sort of customer resident data and what we sort of take to those folks so that we can better educate them. We want to do that in partnership with the fire safe councils. So if we have a footprint of a large project, let's say, the FEMA brick grant that's coming down the pipe, there's seven main fuel reduction projects, and those fuel reduction projects exist in the footprint of maybe one or sometimes two fire safe councils. So in essence, there's money coming to these folks because we're going to be doing fuel reduction on their property. We want to make sure that we take advantage of every opportunity we can to connect with those residents, make sure that they get really connected to the fire safe council, and then we have a really meaningful conversation and ongoing conversation with them about how to think about wildfire resilience. So as we're always going to be out there chasing more money. The work that we do, as we all know, is very expensive. But we want to make sure that the sort of core services platform is really aligned in such a way that it's providing really good support to the fire safe councils, so that we're helping you recruit new fire safe council members to your fire safe councils. We're making sure that those customers, the residents, have a really positive experience on our fuel management programs or our defensible space cost share programs or whatever. And all the while, we want to make sure that we're kind of building really sticky relationships with them and the local fire safe council, so that you can continue to sort of take advantage of that goodwill and keep your ranks, invigorated with new members. So that's a lot of work that we have cut out ahead of us. We got a great team at Firewise. We have a fantastic team of all the fire safe councils, and we realize that it's a heavy lift. And so, we're focused on trying to sort of bring more resources to bear to support the fire safe councils. You're critical to our ability to connect to the community. And we want to make sure that we're doing that sort of both directions. When we're connecting with folks, we want to be bringing you along. We want to empower you and give you resources so that you can do that work and make sure that it's connecting back to the mothership. So that's kind of at a high level what I wanted to talk about. And I'm always available if you want to reach out, try to be responsive and make sure I can help you out where I can in thinking about the work that you all are doing on the ground out there in the community. Any questions? Okay, cool. Let me know if you ever, I'm jumping into the Deer Park Fire Safe Council meeting this evening. That's one of the fire safe councils that we're trying to reinvigorate. But if you ever need assistance, or, if I could be helpful with your fire safe council where we have these meetings, I was at the Calistoga one a few weeks back, the Deer Park, the Angwin one, just let me know. Happy to be there to support and do what I can to kind of round out the message or just fill in the gaps for folks who are new to the space.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for being here tonight, taking the time.
No problem. I'll hang out for another 10 minutes or so and then
okay.
Move on to this other meeting.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you,
Any
Joe,
questions?
too, for attending our social event on Saturday. It was great to have you there, and I appreciate it.
Is that Barbara?
No, Susan.
Oh, Susan?
Silverado?
Oh, sorry.
Silverado.
I'm doing this on my phone. So, hey, Susan, yeah, it was great to see you there. And that was a really nice event, well organized and put together. And I was grateful to be participating in it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Joe. I also just wanted to introduce a couple of other folks from Napa Firewise that are on the call. Elizabeth, Lamar, do you want to say hello? Elizabeth was on the team, has been on the team. She was taken out with an injury for a bit, but she's back and she's helping support our Fire Safety Council leads meetings with as she's able. She's also working on grants, but I'll let Elizabeth say hi real quick.
Just want to take a quick minute to introduce myself. So you see a face when you see those emails coming through from me. I'm here to assist Sherry in any way I can, and to also assist you in any way I can. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And yes, I was hired in 2 years ago and spent a year off from a knee injury. I do not recommend shattering your kneecap. It is not a lot of fun. And so I'm finally back and happy and excited to be working with Sherry and with all of you in helping you with your endeavors.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Jonathan, I don't know if you're able to go on camera for a second and say hi. I think almost everyone here knows Jonathan Nixa already.
Hello, I'm here. I'm also on my smartphone. Good to see you all. And if you ever have any questions, I work with Sherry and Mike, and hope to see you all in your community soon.
Yeah, Jonathan's been out traipsing around helping out with our field monitoring for the dozer lines that the Napa Valley Vintners have helped fund all over in the high, rough country. And he's also been a right-hand guy for the Reflect to Protect Green Signs campaign, which has just successfully wrapped up with a total shoot. And I meant to look up the number of signs, but well over 1,000 signs distributed through the Coombsville Wild Horse Fire Safe Council, Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council, Calistoga Fire Safe Council, Diamond Mountain had most of their signs up already, but I think they may have, everybody has signs now. Replaced some signs, and Lake Hennessy Fire Safe Council. Oh, and Angwin. Sorry, Angwin Fire Safe Council as well. So we're getting those Reflect to Protect green address signs out there through the Fire Safe Council's hard work. Appreciate you all for helping get that going. I know it's ongoing, but I think it's exciting. We're Firewise is looking for additional funds to keep those programs going. I know there are other Fire Safe Councils that are interested in continuing to get those signs out who were not able to participate before. So I'm going to go back to my screen share here, maybe. Well, there we are. And we're back. Okay. And what else? Oh, the chipping program. JC Greenberg did want everyone to know that the county free chipping program will be wrapping up October 30th. They'll be taking applications until October 30th, weather permitting. And any inquiries about strategic places to pile, if you know of people who want to use the chipping program, it's going to be important for people to put those piles where the chippers can reach them and not get stuck in the mud with any additional rains we get this month. It sounds like we've got some possible rain in the forecast on Monday, and I can't remember Friday. We're getting the sprinkles here and there, but and then they're going to take care of all the requests they get up to October 30th. So it may extend up to Thanksgiving when they're actually out doing the chipping. But that wonderful program is going to take a little break for the winter and be back at it again when things dry out a little bit. Oops, I migrated you guys over too far. Okay, and then I would like to introduce our guest speaker, maybe the original Mike Wilson from the California Fire Safe Council. And thanks for joining us today, Mike.
Hey, Sherry.
Thank you. Yes.
Could I just interject really quickly?
Oh,
Evan Kilkus wanted an update on the FEMA BRIC grant, and I can kind of give a quick overview of that if it's okay before we switch over to the CFSC to Mike Wilson.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
So some of you saw the press release that came out. The quick update is that you've probably read some stuff in the Napa Register, and we put out some talking points. I'll speak to those briefly now. As a practical matter, we're still waiting for what's called the award package from FEMA. That could be several months away. Once that award package comes, there's going to be a period of time that will require us to essentially, meaning the county, will be supporting the county in this because the money will all flow through the county and they're the one that will hold the contract. But basically the county will then need to negotiate the contract with FEMA. That process could take several months, 6 months, maybe longer. So between now and when the contract is executed could easily be 6 to 9 months, maybe a year. And then there's the way these programs work, it's sort of like a hockey stick. So the first year is going to be a lot of getting the environmental clearance through NEPA, the historical heritage buildings certifications worked out through SHPA. There's a bunch of stuff that will happen that is largely sort of more advanced work and prep work before we really start to do any of the major work on the fuel management side. So I don't think we'll see chainsaws running and chippers running for maybe a year and a half. It's possible that the defensible space cost share and the home hardening cost share, that those programs will start off more quickly. And so part of what we're doing at Firewise is investing in some additional resources so that we can really support the county in accelerating that process as quickly as possible and kind of compressing the timeline down so we can get the money out working and help them get the money out working in the community. So for instance, we just hired a new finance manager. She starts later this month. She actually comes from Lake County and managed a similar FEMA grant that was for defensible space and home hardening cost share. And so we're taking steps now to sort of prep in advance of that. So I think most of you understand the way that the grant's going to work. It's $25 million for defensible space and home hardening cost share. It's $25 million for 7 large vegetation management programs. All the money runs through the county. It's a reimbursement grant, so the work has to be done, the money has to be spent, and then we go to the county goes to the federal government to get reimbursed. There's a 25% match, and the 25% match will come from residents largely for the defensible space and home hardening aspect of the grant, meaning you'll be able to spend up to $30,000 or $40,000 on home hardening and defensible space, and you will be obligated to pay anywhere from 20 to 30 or 35% of that. So if you fork out 40 grand, then you'll basically get 30 grand back hypothetically. So there's no money for maintenance. So part of what we're going to be doing is working closely with the community members who are in the footprint, in the boundaries of the fuel reduction projects, to help them understand how they can maintain the work long term and what resources are available, from like NRCS EQIP to Fire Forward to the Prescribed Burn Association to the North Bay Forest Improvement Program or Firewise, and then what they can do to help maintain these things. So that's, sort of an overview of it. It's a reimbursement grant, runs through the county. We're there to support the county, and we're figuring out what the mechanics are going to be of that, what our role is going to be. There will be cost share components and expectations around that. And then we're going to be working diligently with landowners so that they understand how longer term, how they can maintain the project, because we all know that if we do this work and it's not maintained in 3 or 4 years, it's kind of like a lost investment. Any quick questions about that?
Yeah, Joe, thank you very much for the update. That's a great synopsis. And then I was wondering, I still have, of course, 1,000 questions because we're talking about spending millions of dollars around all of our communities. So are there can we plan a fire safe council community meeting in a quarter or two from now to really give us all the details? Is that maybe in the plan?
Absolutely. I mean, there will be loads of outreach and education and working with landowners and, fire safe councils that are in the footprint, Coombsville, Berryessa Highlands, Calistoga. I mean, we will be working with those fire safe councils to make sure that they understand what's sort of coming down the line. The entire county is going to be eligible to participate in the defensible space and home hardening cost share program. So there'll be a lot of outreach. We want to make sure that you guys are armed with the best information to help us lead that communication and that sort of change and implementation management piece. So I suspect I can assure you there will be quite a number of meetings to keep you all up to speed, and we're happy to provide an update on a monthly basis at this FSC lead meeting, but just know that as a practical matter, there might not be a lot of new information between now and November or December.
Yeah, looking forward to a big meeting next spring to get us all in position to help out. And thank you very much.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Great.
Cool. Mike
think,
Wilson,
like-
thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate all the input you're going to help provide our folks on this call. I'm going to sign off and run into this Deer Park meeting, and y'all feel free to reach out if there's anything I can help you with. All right.
Thanks, Joe.
Take care.
And we had one more person to introduce from the Firewise team, but Roger, I'm going to ask you to speak after Mike's done. We'll introduce you all to Roger if you haven't met him yet, and we're going to go over some social media items shortly. But okay, we made Mike wait nice and long, and take it away, Mike.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Nice to see everyone. I wish I was over at Evan's house. It looks like that's quite a group. That looks like a fun way to hold a meeting. So I think we all ought to do that. My name is Mike Wilson. I'm the Northern California Regional Coordinator for the California Fire Safe Council for about the remainder of this month. And then I'm actually going to be leaving. I was very fortunate to be hired by Elizabeth about 2.5 years ago. Working for the California Fire Safe Council, and had the opportunity to work on the programs and outreach team since that time. Took a little hiatus where I was actually doing my other function. I work as the Director of Development for Alert California, and now expanding into Alert West, the wildfire camera detection system. And that's where I'll be going at the end of the month, going back to doing that full time. But in my capacity here, I have the opportunity to help coordinate communication and do outreach throughout Northern California, basically from the Sacramento County all the way up to the Oregon border, and from the ocean over to Nevada, all the upper region of Northern California, working with all the different counties and local fire safe councils within that area to try to do some of the things we do. And I'm going to keep this fairly short, but I did drop my contact information in the chat if anybody wants to reach out for further calls or questions or anything after this meeting. I'll be happy to help you out or connect you with the person who's going to be taking over the northern region, who is Brooke McAllister. She's currently the Central California Regional Coordinator, and Brooke and I were hired on the same day by Elizabeth. So we have a great connection and work very well together. So it's pretty cool. I also have the opportunity to work with Sherry, who are our county coordinator, which is the county coordinator program through the California Fire Safe Council is kind of we call it our flagship. And that having 50 of our 58 counties here in California now having a county coordinator position really makes our job easy in trying to maintain communications to local fire safe council, fire mitigation groups, and different fire agencies throughout California. So with those positions in place, much like what Sherry does, and by the way, she's a rock star for all of our California counties, we get to communicate and share information, which is helpful, again, to the community itself and individuals even throughout Northern California, throughout California as a state. Some of the things that we do, well, I guess I'll go into a little bit of our history. We actually were started in 1993 through a program with CAL FIRE, and at that time called California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. That's what I knew it as when I worked there, and was a great organization with some great leadership and role models to get out there and work on fire mitigation efforts and fire prevention throughout the state. Doing that in 1993, our model kind of continued until 2002, when we established a full nonprofit and tax exempt status, which allowed us to be able to work kind of on the focus of being a grants clearinghouse for the state and passing funds to local fire safe councils and fire mitigation groups throughout California to try to focus on different programs. Oftentimes those were the programs like fuel breaks and created shaded fuel breaks and so on throughout the state. Since that time, we've kind of expanded our programs in different things we do throughout the state. And much like I mentioned with the county coordinator program, overseeing a variety of continual grant programs for the state, some of those funded by federal sources, some state, and even private sources sometimes, and being a pass-through, if you will, for funding to local fire safe councils and fire mitigation groups to do a variety of different efforts. Those currently include working on defensible space projects, working on home hardening projects, working on evacuation route and evacuation route planning, and getting out and actually doing some work on the ground with those local fire mitigation groups to come in and try to make the fuel models within our state a little bit safer. Other things we do is work on coordinating different programs for communications. We have outreach and programs to teach different local fire mitigation groups on how to best message your community and how to get your message through a variety of different networks passed along to community members so that you can actually blast out your fire mitigation plans and ideas and trying to make your community safer. Other things we're involved in, which is one of my passions, is outreach and education. And one of the big ones, which is in fact Elizabeth and I have been working on for years, is trying to get a statewide youth education program in place so that we can focus on teaching the youth within the state of California the information to help make their communities and their state a safer place through doing a variety of different mitigation techniques. We also work on post-trauma events, teaching and education for youth who are those youth that are impacted in communities like ours here where I'm at here in Butte County with the Camp Fire, where many students up in the town of Paradise not only lost their homes but lost their schools. And so being able to go in and work on trauma-informed learning with those youth and trying to get them to be able to cope with the after effects of a significant wildfire like we've seen here in California. Other things we work on, we do technical assistance, trying to sometimes connect grant writers or folks that work in the technical world of CEQA and NEPA to different fire safe councils so that they can actually complete projects and complete environmental studies and so on. We also do training and workshops. We have one coming up in Napa that I'll actually let Sherry talk about probably in the future here, but it's called the WFAP, or the Wildland Fire Assessment Program, which was developed by the U.S. Forest Service and in combination with HIZ training, or home ignition zone training, where we go out and work with individuals within communities and teach them to be able to go out and do assessments in their communities, taking a look at homes to determine if those homes are safe, or if there's recommendations that can be made to the homeowners to help make their homes safer to prevent wildfire. Other things we do is research, and we oftentimes try to work on long-term strategic planning to see where our organization is going to go. Something I've always hoped we would move towards is getting out and trying to get ahead of some of the issues that we face here in California through supporting fire safe councils on legislative issues that are currently impacting all of our communities in California. However, at this point in time, we're not able to go out and do any lobbying because we are a nonprofit. And oftentimes we're unable to really get out there and do that focus on trying to support changes in law and legislature. So I'm hoping in the future we'll see some changes with that. We've had some pretty significant changes in our overhead leadership, and our executive director, J.C. Hyde, is recently here for about 8 months now, joining the California Fire Safe Council from a position with the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services. And we're hoping that JC has the support of the board to continue to move forward on doing some things to help make our organization a little better, and so that we can better support local fire safe councils like yourselves. With that, I'm gonna probably kind of wrap this up and be happy to answer any questions. But to keep your meeting moving forward, if you will notice the chat has my email and phone numbers in there. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, comments, or otherwise following this meeting, and I'll be happy to follow up with you. And if I'm not here, I'll be happy to put you in touch with Brooke McAllister. So with that, I'll be happy to end a report and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks so much, Mike. And I have questions.
Sure.
I'm excited for the WFAP training, and I wish that we had rallied the troops to do it this month before you wander off into other adventures. Just wondering how if you're going to come back and do any guest appearances or anything like that.
Sure. If I get to go to Napa, I'll tell you what, I'll be happy to come in and just volunteer my weekends or time or otherwise. You guys have a pretty amazing community.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Thank you.
Don't worry,
Yeah, it's been a
Sherry. I know how to
What
track
is
him
it?
down. I was
Oh,
gonna say,
perfect.
don't worry, I can track him down.
Can round them up. You both need to come to the Napa Valley and spend some time with us.
Absolutely.
In person. Yeah, we did. We talked actually at the last meeting about doing the training, getting our volunteers from our fire safe councils trained up on how to do the home assessments for defensible space, and we would love to get that going. So more to come on that. We'll have to find the time that works for the most folks, and that we can hopefully also rally Mike to come and oversee.
Anytime. Again, anytime. Happy to come back, and I'll continue to be very active in the wildfire world here in California. So the one thing that leaving the California Fire Safety Council may change is I won't be getting as many of the other Mike Wilson's emails anymore. So that's going to be.
Yes, I know that's been a problem for me. I keep sending or calling the wrong Mike Wilson for that task. It's always a pleasure to talk to either of them. But yes, and also just so you all know, if you haven't checked it out, and many of you I'm sure have, the California Fire Safe Council website has a ton of great resources for your Fire Safe Council, including a Fire Safe Council handbook, which I think might be being overhauled. Is that right, Mike?
It is. We do have the 2020 version available, and would be happy to pass that along to anybody who's in need.
Fantastic. And they also coordinate meetings. There's one coming up on the 26th, I believe, like a brown bag lunchtime meeting with different speakers and information.
Yes.
Or is that one still a go?
It
'Cause I know
is.
you guys are
In
busy.
fact, I'll post that in the chat in just a moment here.
Excellent. And they have a calendar of events, and we've all been invited to post our own Fire Safe Council events on their website as well to help get more visibility for them. So there you go. Any other questions for Mike? Okay.
But just one more last shout out to Evan there. Let me know when I can come to this meeting at your house, Evan. It sounds like a great opportunity.
They're having a sub meeting. Okay. Well, thanks again. Thanks for taking the time to be with us tonight, Mike. And
thank you,
we'll see
and thank
in the
you to
neighborhood.
all of your members who are here in the leads of the various local fire safe councils for the amazing work you do. It's because of you that we are seeing some significant changes in what's happening in the fire world here, and love to see the work you're doing. Very proud of you all.
Thank you. And you're welcome to stay on if you like.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Okay, great. And let's see what's next. All right, as promised, Roger Collinson is on the call as well. Many of you have met Roger already. Roger joined the team. I've lost all track of time recently. this early fall, late summer, I think. No, gosh, I can't remember. Last spring, 7 years ago. I'm not exactly sure. April. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Fantastic. And Roger's been helping us step up our game with our social media, among other things. Roger, I'm going to let you take it from there. Oh, and just a little background. Roger is a retired firefighter paramedic from the Napa City Fire, the Napa local.
Everyone, thanks for having me on. Just want to first extend a huge thanks to all of you who are spending time and efforts to help keep this valley what it is. Because as a firefighter, being boots on the ground on these incidents throughout the state of California for my career, I was there for almost 20 years. And then coming to having these fires come to our community for me in 17 and in 20 when I was on these incidents, it really hit home differently. Obviously, it hit home because this is where I live. This is where I grew up. This is my hometown. And to see the destruction in our own backyards. It's different, especially as a responder who, you're tasked with fixing things and making things better. And this particular incident, it was not going to get better right away. We knew that. But the fact that all of you are here working hard to try to reduce the impact of these fires, that says a tremendous amount. And my mission right now is to help Napa Firewise and what we do as a group, including our fire safe councils, get our brand, our logo, and our mission on the map for people in the Napa County community, right? There's a lot of folks I meet and they have no idea that we exist. So my mission is to fix that. And I'm doing it via social media. We do outreach events. Mike, I didn't want to step in, but I do want to, I'm going to be emailing you to chat about what we can do in schools outreach as well, because that was one of my responsibilities when I was a firefighter. I created the school outreach program for the elementary schools. And I always thought, there was nothing in place for middle school and high school. So I would love to partner with you to see what we could do here in Napa. So that's a little bit about me, and my passions right now are with this organization, because I believe strongly that we can reduce the impacts of fires. And I think it's within our reach. We have the equipment, we have the technology, and all we need is the backing of the community to continue this work. With that said, social media is one avenue that we have. Is it a silver bullet? Absolutely not. It is going to be one method or pillar of our outreach to the community. But I will tell you this, social media is an interesting dog. It needs to be fed. And if we don't feed it, the dog runs off and it disappears. So the algorithms that social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever they use, we can't fix those, but we can manipulate them in a way. And how do we do that to keep our messaging up front? We do that by liking, commenting, sharing, any kind of posts that Napa Firewise puts up. If you, as your fire safe council, are creating posts, please let me know. If I'm not seeing it right away, we're following you guys as well. So we can repost that and share it again. I've done some really fun stuff. I worked with Pam, the Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council, when we did the goat grazing project up by her property. I've come up to the Highlands and worked with Joe Sponseller. And both those individuals are like rock stars in my mind. These folks are volunteering their time, and just like all of you are, and we're out there showcasing the work that they're doing. I would love to meet each one of you. And if you're interested in doing a video or doing some type of promotional stuff for social media, hit me up. I would love to work with you. But the message I want to drive home tonight is, one, please make sure that you are following us. If you have social media, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, please understand that you need to be following us. And I will walk you through this if it's possible. Sherry, are we able to pull up the Facebook on your screen there?
Let's see. I could stop sharing first. Oh gosh. Notoriously have 4,000 tabs open as usual.
Well, while she's working on that, this is our current thing. Let's see if we can bring it into focus. This blurred screen's gonna mess it up. We have a goat mascot that we've adopted, 2 baby goats. There's a brother and sister. They're twins. We've adopted them as our mascots. So think Smokey Bear. And the goal is that we are going to ask the public in the community here to help us name these animals. So we've been running this the whole time. The link for this is on our website. And when you log on to napfirewise.org, it's at the very top. There's a banner. You can follow that. Encourage your friends and neighbors. If you have friends, kids, people around that would be interested, love animals, usually it's kids and families we're trying to gear this towards. Get them on, help them find this contest. We have some great sponsors that are helping us. Sushi Mambo up in Calistoga, along with Lovina Restaurant. In Napa, I've got Monday Bakery, Napa Book Mine, Heritage Eats, and American Canyon. I've got Mid-City Nursery and Lasso. And all of these businesses have donated so that when we hold this contest, we can give out prizes as well. So I want to make sure you're aware of that.
And on that
So-
note, oh, sorry, real quick, those goats are very compellingly adorable. And I think if it worked out, we'd be happy to share them with you if your Fire Safe Council has an outreach event where you would like some little mascots along to show people how to remind people to eat, or I mean mow their grass and keep the weeds back. The goats are great for that. So happy to bring them to you.
Yes, they are mobile. In fact, I'm going to be taking them on their first Rockstar tour tomorrow. We're going to be in American Canyon with them, visiting our sponsors down there, taking pictures, and kind of thanking the business and promoting it on social media. I'll be in Napa as well, so I'm very happy to bring them to you. So on that screen, sorry, Sherry, can we go back to that real fast?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to go to mine or to Napa Firewise?
Yeah, go to yours, because then that way it'll be more accurate. I know most folks have their mics off, and I won't be able to see everyone, but just kind of a show of hands. How many of you have social media, Facebook? So if you have social media and Facebook, this is Sherry's page. So Sherry can go to the search bar on the left upper part there. It's the search Facebook. You type in Napa Firewise. Oh, there it is. She's obviously tapping into it. And when you get to that page for Napa Firewise, you see on the right-hand side where it says liked. That means that Sherry is following our page, right? So when she follows it, she'll see the updates that come through. So if you're not getting updates on your Facebook, that would be why, one reason why you're not following. So you want to make sure that it's clicked on follow. You see where just below that dot, it would say unfollow, right? So we want to make sure that it says liked. And then if she clicks unfollow, she'll no longer get those, right? And then you can put it as a favorite like she just did there. And then she can hit update. And that will make sure that the algorithm will populate your Facebook feed with Napa Firewise. So last thing on this, so I just want to make sure everybody understands that you have to follow the page, first of all, in order to get them. And then secondly, when you see a post, so Sherry, scroll down just a little bit here, just as an example. A little further there. Okay, so we just posted one here. Oh, Sherry, I got you right there. So where it says Yountville and that video's running. On that post, right? So Sherry needs to hit like on that one there. Now, what happens when she does that? What happens is anyone who's friends with Sherry on Facebook, it's going to show that she likes Firewise. And if she comments on this page and says, can't wait, looking good, whatever she wants to write, then that will further help push this post out. And all of her friends that are on Facebook will see that she commented on that. And again, it's just a way to keep that post from being at the top of the algorithm for Facebook. We can do all these posts. We can put up a bunch of straight stuff. These videos are pretty time consuming when we do make them. But if we don't get likes, if we don't get comments, we won't be able to have this thing work the way it should. And the other thing she can do is she can hit share on that. See where it says share. She can share the video then with her friends, and she can write a message, hey, come out and join us. This is a great event, meet all of our friends. So that's kind of a way to help us promote what we are doing. It takes very little of your time. Obviously, doesn't cost you any money. And I know not a lot of us are on Facebook all the time. Unfortunately, with my job, I'm on Facebook all the time. But again, guys, this is just a simple way to help promote what we're doing. I don't want to take any more of your time on this, but if anybody has any questions specific to social media, or if you want to have any connection with me to do more outreach, if you have some good ideas for posts or a video or featuring something in your neighborhood, then please reach out to me. I'd love to work with you.
Yeah, thank you, Roger. And thanks for taking one for the team, for spending all that time on Facebook and going through all the comments and
yeah,
and
it's interesting.
But it is really helpful. And I wanted to show you also. So we do appreciate you guys helping promote our posts and also the projects. And I wanted to just say real quickly, the Fire Safe Council's been doing a fantastic job with helping to get landowner agreements for projects that Napa Firewise is helping to orchestrate. And we desperately need that help. It goes a long way to get the local folks out sharing their experience and their confidence in us that we're going to do a good job with these projects and answering questions, and then letting us know too if people have concerns. It's really super helpful. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council and Vanessa von Hessert, who's did a wonderful post about the work that was going on out on White Sulphur Springs. She also helped convince the final holdout on landowner agreements that he was in good hands, and we were able to get landowner agreements for every single person along the road there for that project. But since she's out there anyway, living on that road, she was just posting about what was happening. But also she gave this great little discussion. I don't know if you can see it, but about what a roadside fuel reduction project entails. And we're happy to help with that too. But if it comes from you, that's all the more better. We really appreciate that. That is that. Any questions or comments? Does anyone have any? How many of you? I guess if you have a lot of experience using social media to promote events or things for your Fire Safe Council, if you have any tips to share, that would be appreciated too. Was I sharing my screen just now? Possibly not.
So up on Diamond Mountain, we mostly just do outreach via direct email to our immediate constituents, but I'll definitely be leaning into everybody, and I'll send an e-blast out to encourage people in our Fire Safe Council to sign up on your Facebook page, because that looks like really has a lot of traction. And it is a great place to report and share our different accomplishments. You know, we've been working hard on a few projects up here, and it'd be nice to share that out further than just our immediate membership.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I the one thing that you touched on is when you have these meetings or you have these email conversations, however you're interacting with the folks, if one thing that's real simple is just, are you on social media? If they say yes, please follow us. And that should be a message that should be repeated. I repeat this message so many times when I'm out in public. I'll meet people on the street when I'm driving in the truck or in the vehicle and I have my logo on. I'll say, hey, support our efforts, follow us. And just by simply doing that, I'm picking up a handful of followers. And I always tell Joe and the rest of our team when we have these meetings each week is it's small ball. Just get me on base. Just get me a base hit. That's all. I'm not looking for a grand slam. I'm looking for 100 followers a week. Just give me 5, 6, 7, because each of those folks may have a different level of impact within their social media group. And you never know when one of those base hits is going to turn into an RBI or a run or whatever. So that's what I'm looking for.
Can you tell us, besides Facebook, what are the other platforms that you're really working on?
Yeah, so Facebook is probably our biggest one right now. That's where we have the most reach and the most followers. In addition to that, we have Instagram. And I will say something about the two of those. So the demographics, if you were to look at Facebook versus Instagram, people in their 40s and younger, you'll see are using both Facebook and Instagram. When you get into your 30s and younger, you don't see a lot of Facebook users. People 40 and above, which seems to be the majority of the folks that are in our business, right? Me included. I turned 45 in a week or so. That's a Facebook community, right? So we know that the majority of the folks we're hitting are on. I'm looking back at my screen here because I'm trying to pull up some data here for you. But we do know that Facebook is probably the primary source of social media. In addition to that, we are reinstating and trying to get our Twitter account or X account back up again. We also are working hard. I know Joe's been trying to help me out with this, but the Nextdoor is another means of communicating. But that has been a tricky one to break into because we are an organization, not an individual or a business with a physical address, which is another holdup for us. And then lastly, I would say that the YouTube channel as well is something else that people can follow. So if they're not on social media whatsoever, you can follow and follow or like our YouTube channel. And then that will also let you see some of the work that we're doing.
Are they all listed basically as Napa Firewise, or are they Napa
Yes, ma'am.
NCFF, or is it Napa Communities Fire Foundation? It's all Firewise. That's the shortcut.
Yeah, you may see it listed as Napa Communities Firewise Foundation, but for the most part, I've been trying to brand us as Napa Firewise. Yeah, but yes, officially Napa or Napa Communities Firewise, you'll see that terminology as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and we do have a YouTube channel as well, and that's where you can find all the recordings from these Fire Safe Council Leads meetings, in addition to any webinars that we've held, or that's mostly what's there so far. But if you subscribe to that channel, you'll be able to view them at your leisure. And this handy QR code on your screen will take you to this page that has the different channels to follow to connect with us. And then I will be sending this around as a PDF for you all too, so then you can use it as you like. A couple quick updates. There's some events coming up. Roger and the Goats, and possibly I will be at the Napa City Fire Station open house this Saturday. It is Fire Prevention Week, National Fire Prevention Week. And if you're not familiar with how that got started, it was from the catastrophic Chicago fire of, I don't remember when, a long time ago. So it started out really being more about preventing your house from catching on fire. And I think the focus for this year is about kitchen fires and cooking fires. And that is relevant for Napa Firewise, of course, and for all of our efforts, because a house fire can easily start a catastrophic wildfire. But it's also a great opportunity to think about the defensible space around your home, keeping fires from starting and in your yard, but also if there is a fire, to keep it away out of your house and out of your structures and out of your neighborhood. So again, just really concentrating on that defensible space and trying to socialize the 0 to 5 foot ember-free zone. There have been some great videos out lately. Probably you've seen them of some of the experiments that have gone on to show what a difference it makes to have nothing flammable in that 0 to 5 foot zone around your house, in addition to all the other things that we all know we should do to keep our houses safer. And helping to spread that word is what we're all doing. So thank you for that. We are hosting a workshop at the town of Yountville about defensible space and fire resilient landscaping. This time of year, it's more thinking about maintenance perhaps and planning your yard for next year, but what to do with those leaves and debris as fall finally arrives. There's the Salina Hometown Harvest Festival and Pet Parade, and the Angwin Fire Safe Council is hosting a community meeting for folks in Angwin to help finalize their CWPP and Firewise USA application. As Mike mentioned, there's the California Fire Safe Council regional meetings, and we have more. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more. I think I didn't manage to paste it in here, but the Napa Community Foundation is hosting a wildfire summit on November 2nd, and that will be down at the Marriott Hotel Ballroom in Napa. And we do have a link. I'll put it in the chat for signing up for that summit. Registration is online now, and I can't talk and put links in the chat at the same time. So
question on the 19th, October 19th, is that Yountville, did you say?
Yeah, yep.
So not Zoom, but just in person.
In person, yeah. And it's they're doing a whole series on emergency preparedness. COAD presented last month. And I think on the following week or 2 weeks afterwards, that's the following week, they'll have a presentation by the Red Cross. And before the meeting, the workshop that we're presenting, they will have a fire extinguisher training, which I always think is a great idea. People to get a chance to blast off a fire extinguisher.
Cool.
So the more the merrier there. I think that's about it. Now, so we have kind of run up to 6 o'clock already. We haven't even had a chance to hear from all of the fire safe councils. And if you all want to stay on longer and do any reporting or catch up with each other and kind of share ideas and concerns, I would love to host that longer. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining us and have a fantastic evening. And so if anybody, let's see, if anyone has to jump off. So I will go ahead and, oh gosh, make this larger, stop sharing my screen. There we go. Oh, now I can see you. Okay. Thank you, Gretchen.
Thanks a lot, Shari.
Thanks, Eileen. You've been very busy this month.
Yes.
Oh, and thank you, Mike Wilson. It was the Great Chicago Fire of 18. Oh no, I've got a pop up in front of it. 18. I can't see it.
1871.
Thank you. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, sorry, it's not something to laugh about. That was horrific, but I guess we've all learned from that. And thanks, Pam. Harvest, I know harvest is upon us, and everyone's been busy with that as well. If you have time to stay a little bit, Bob, I'd love to hear an update from the Hennessy Rector Fire Safe Council. What's going on? I know you guys have been busy this year with all kinds of projects and grazing. Evan, in the Highlands, they just finished a grazing program as well. But Bob, do you want to give any updates?
Yeah, we had a busy year. We did a lot of maintenance work. We grazed a couple of fire breaks that were cut back in 2020, and grazed the shaded fuel break we did along 128 last year. So we must have grazed probably 75 acres maybe. Finished some more shaded fuel break along 128, and are really pretty much at the end of our top priority projects. So we've ticked them all off. Just one more to go, and we're just waiting for a crew to get on that one after harvest is done. And at that point, we're really going to be focused on maintaining what we've done, kind of reassessing where our biggest vulnerabilities are now. And we're real happy for all of the support you all have given us.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all of your hard work. It's you guys have done an amazing job of making plans and executing them and raising funds. You can see those cool maps in the background. There's a lot going on in Hennessy Rector, and I think the community is quite a bit safer for it. So thank you. And unfortunately, we missed Susan Derringer, but hopefully next time we'll catch an update on their October 7th meeting. They did I think they did a cocktail hour to get the community down to talk about fire safety, and I think that's a fun idea. Some kind of a food and beverages of any kind are always popular. Anyone else? Let's see.
Can I add to that?
Yes,
Hennessy Rector
please.
part?
Oh, Brandon, yeah, of course.
Hi, everybody. We have finally received the final maps for the Beacon Box project, and once I get the new USB ports downloaded, all the new information, we're gonna roll it out and kind of make a public spectacle out of it as the first Beacon Box in Napa, and hopefully we'll see more of them throughout the valley.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I look forward to that. And we've had a lot of interest from the Fire Safe Councils on the Beacon Boxes. I know you've spoken about it a little bit. and the folks who attended the Hennessy Rector field trip, whenever that was a long time ago too, last spring. Got to see what that was about. But I would love to do another field trip up to your neck of the woods to take a look at that and learn a little bit more about that project. And I also saw that Spring Mountain Fire Safe Council has a cool little tutorial, not a tutorial, but a demonstration of how easy it is to add things to your map on your phone for the software that they're using to populate those maps with like where your fire hydrants are.
Right, and
Walk
whether or
around.
not we want to put that in the hands of the leads of the safe councils, or we want the company who makes the maps to do it. That has yet to be, the logistics of that have yet to be seen.
Yeah, you test driven the doing it yourself, and I know that
Right, it was
probably
time
pretty
consuming.
epic. Yes, wonderful. Well, thank you for your insights there. And Evan, we were hoping also to arrange a field trip up to Berryessa Highlands.
Yeah, that certainly can happen, and can on the way up, you guys will enjoy the beautiful shaded fuel break that the Hennessy Rector people have put in, and that red box is very easy to see right on Highway 128. So congratulations to them for the beautiful work we all get to enjoy looking at as we drive by. And yeah, we'd be happy to show off. Joe has helped coordinate the sheep the grazing project. And this week we had a grader up here maintaining our bulldozed shaded fuel breaks. I think a lot of that is compliments of NCFF via the sponsor, the Napa Vintners Association. I think those fuel breaks are outstanding, right, Joe and Shelley?
Absolutely.
It's amazing to know that the ridge lines and access roads around our community that we've kind of prepped over the last decade, now they're being maintained regularly at a low annual cost because of a lot of good work, and there's lots of details. So we'd be happy to share more in the future. In addition to, I do want to give a shout out again to the Napa Firewise Defensible Space Program. I've now helped about 7 homes in the neighborhood go through defensible space makeovers, as I would call them. And these homeowners are receiving, as you all know, up to $3,500 in grant funding to remove juniper and rosemary and prune up trees and add spacing and improve the zone 0, all of the most important things. And this is added to, or this is in combination. Already we've removed a couple tennis courts worth of rosemary and juniper right up against homes that could all be a big problem. So a big shout out to the Defensible Space Program. I do encourage other fire safe councils to try to find somebody to go around and identify the homes that could use the help the most, and just go talk to those homeowners and get them signed up. And I'll leave it at that unless there's other questions. But Joe has something to say here.
I just have one question. There were some people that had done some work and had submitted for the Defensible Space Grant, and I guess they were waiting and they weren't sure where the status of that was. What's the best path for them to kind of raise that awareness to kind of get a status? Is that what's the correct way for them to go?
That's a great question, and I do have an email into Piper right this minute about that very thing. So
Okay.
you would be, I didn't hear about, I know she's at the Deer Park meeting right now, so I expect to hear back from her soon. So you're welcome to send them my way for now, and I will make sure that they get taken care of. But we've had a change of staff.
I could even answer that. Initially, the general answer is dspace@napafirewise.org is the general email address for that program. So if any homeowners put in a request, and if they haven't heard back, or if they have any questions, because it is I want everyone to remember too, this is a trial project that NCFF, led by Piper, they're really trialing this concept of doing defensible space in people's yards. And that has never been done before. And as we all know, it's complicated when we're doing work in people's front yards and over their fences and roofs and cars. This project, give it some patience, put a little extra volunteer effort into it, and we'll get a lot of bang for our buck out of it, and hopefully make it better in the future, I think.
Thanks, Sherry, for offering to get any of those escalations or whatever, just to get attention to them too as well. So we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that, Evan. That's exactly the case. This has been a demonstration and trial project. It's their third version of doing defensible space posture programs to help people, with the sometimes tremendous expense of doing work. And there are a lot of aspects that I really love about it, and we're still working out some kinks. So that's I appreciate the patience, and I know it's frustrating, and especially if people have already paid and they're waiting to get reimbursed. So let's and I have things on that front for you too, Bob. But that's important to note. We just hired someone to replace Mark Nadeau, who was heading up the charge there. So we do have a little changing of the guard going on right now too. That's I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, but there is a little bit. I'm sure that slowed things down a little bit too. But yeah, please do have them email the DSpace at Napa Firewise. They are welcome to CC me or call me or whatever else. I'm happy to help escalate that and track down what's going on. That's been great. And there, as you know, as Joe mentioned, there are going to be more funds available through the FEMA BRIC grant eventually, but don't wait to replace your roof if it's leaking already, because it's going to be a while, I think. And Megan, always good to see you on these calls. Thanks for joining us from Berry West. With that, unless anyone else has anything pressing, have a fantastic night.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thanks again, Mike, for
Thank you, Sherry.
joining us. And
Thank you,
I'm
Sherry.
really I'm gonna miss you in the California Fire Safe Council. So I look forward to.
I'll be around though.
with you at
Please,
your new
please
gig.
feel free to reach
Okay.
out. And if need be, you can contact me at Alert California or Alert West. So I'm still in the fireworks.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting too. You'll have to come back and report on that program.
I'd love to.
Okay.
Mike, I just
Thank
sent you an email. Mike, that I want to chat with you about the school outreach stuff that gets me excited to know that might be an option. So thank you.
That's awesome, Roger. Thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thanks,
all.
everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Is that Jim Perry too? Did I see?
It's like romper room, and I see Sherry.